Vanakkam, Dohadeva, and everyone. Wonderful to be with you. Om Sahana Bhavatu, Sahana Bhunaktu, Sahaviryam Karavavahai, Tejasvinavaditamastu, Ma Vinvishavahai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. And we'll attempt to share the screen. Okay, November 6th, here we are. Oh, our first topic is one that came up as part of my first day of the Face Talk in Kadavul Temple, which was about stress and tension. So we'll look at what we weren't able to look at at length there, the 2018 Publisher's Desk, which I just made reference to, which is entitled Managing Chronic Stress. Subtitle: Almost everyone these days is challenged by the growing intensity of life. Here are some tools to maintain balance. And the background story. This Publisher's Desk is based upon talking to a few Hindus who were seriously stressed out by their busy lives. The article makes a few simple suggestions drawing on Gurudeva's teachings for reducing stress. On a regular basis, I meet Hindus who, like most of the world, are emotionally distraught and mentally agitated due to the constant stress of their daily activities. This seems to be especially common when both husband and wife are pursuing demanding careers under employers who expect them to perform at exceptional levels for long hours. It is not uncommon to learn that they are also raising 2 or more children. The daily demands of work and family are more than realistically can fit into a 24-hour day. In some instances, after many years of constantly having too much to do on a daily basis, serious stress results. Some types of stress are self-correcting. We are laid off from our job and after being in that situation a few months, experience the stress of no monthly income. However, when we find a new job, the stress automatically goes away. A hurricane destroys our home. The stress is immediate and significant, but once we have built a new home, it again resolves itself. The incessant demands of daily activities creates a kind of stress that is different, one that no event takes away. In fact, it can grow more intense from year to year. Faced with this kind of chronic stress, it is prudent and healthy to find ways to reduce it. Gurudeva gave a number of helpful practices for stress management. The first was breath control. He wrote, "The mystic's goal is to control awareness while he is in the conscious mind, the external world, to know where he is in consciousness. When he finds he is aware in the conscious mind and the 5 senses have become his ruler, he then controls his awareness with the conscious mind himself, conscious mind itself. He does this in a number of ways. One way is through the control of breath. Breath is life and life is breath. Breath is the controlling factor of awareness. Awareness rides on breath. Breath is also a controlling factor of our willpower. Seeker must develop a dynamic will to walk the path of enlightenment so that he does not stumble or falter but continues onward no matter how difficult the path seems to be. When it comes to breathing, the fundamental practice is to be sure you are breathing from your diaphragm and not from your chest. So, of course, most of us are very good at this, but some of us may not be that familiar with it. So we'll go through the basics. This is a natural way to breathe. It is how babies naturally breathe. However, once we take on life's tensions, the diaphragm tightens and we tend to expand the chest when we breathe. The diaphragm can be felt right below your solar plexus in the area where the ribs separate. To locate it, place your fingertips on the diaphragm and cough. When your fingers are directly on the diaphragm, they will jump as you cough. An easy way to learn diaphragmatic breathing is to lie on the floor and place a book on your tummy. When you inhale while relaxed, the diaphragm will extend itself downward in the abdomen, causing the book to rise. When you exhale, the diaphragm completely relaxes and the book returns to its starting position. In this way, tension is released and stress is reduced. So this is a real simple one, and if you have friends who are talking about how stressed they are, you could share it with them because it's so simple. Just breathe from the diaphragm, reduces stress. Gurudeva's comment, you will experience that when the nerve currents are quieted through diaphragmatic breathing, it is impossible to be frustrated, and it is possible to absorb within yourself into the great halls of inner learning, into the great vacuum within you, all of your problems, troubles, and fears without having to psychoanalyze them. Sounds great. Don't have to psychoanalyze. Once you grasp the basics of diaphragmatic breathing, you can practice it while sitting upright, even in a chair or when walking. Whenever you need to relax, such as before and during an important meeting or exam, just take 1 minute to breathe deeply from the diaphragm. So this is something you can do before and during, just for a few seconds, depending on how much time would be remaining conspicuous. 15 seconds, 30 seconds, just breathe from the diaphragm and relax. Second practice for reducing chronic stress, the yoga break, also involves breathing. Lie on your back on the floor or any flat, firm surface. With arms at your sides, take a deep breath and command your body and mind to relax, to let go of all thoughts and tensions. Visualize yourself floating on a cloud above all the troubles and turmoils of daily life. With eyes closed, inhale, breathing from the diaphragm while visualizing a powerful light flooding into your solar plexus that fills your body and mind with energy. Exhaling, feel this light energy moving out from the solar plexus to every part of your body and visualize it expelling all of your thoughts and tensions. Repeat this for 5 minutes and you will feel less stressful, for as the body relaxes, so does the mind. And another quote from Gurudeva, freedom from worldly tensions is only achieved to the degree in which people are able to control the forces of their own mind. In this control, they are able to lean upon the power of their own inner security, found in the eternity of the moment. In that moment, your inner strength is found. So take your yoga break whenever you feel even a little tired physically, a little nervous, a little distraught. That is the time, not when you have time. A third practice in managing stress is taking time each morning for a short spiritual religious practice. Gurudeva called this a daily vigil and gave this comment on it. Devout Hindus perform daily vigil called Sandhya Upasana, usually before dawn. This sacred period of puja, japa chanting, singing, hatha yoga, meditation, and scriptural study is the foundation of personal life. So we're all familiar with that, but lots of people haven't thought seriously about doing that. Again, it's something you could recommend to friends. Just 10 minutes. So then this just goes through our 10-minute spiritual workout. I don't need to read the text. It's an app available on iOS and Android for free. And there's also a publisher's desk on the subject, published in 2014. So lots of resources to back it up. And we have a fourth one, is the practice of Hatha Yoga. So in our system, it's bodily postures, asanas done in a specific sequence and with coordinated breathing. So Hatha Yoga postures range from simple to difficult. The simple ones are sufficient to practice for reducing chronic stress. And Gurudeva, the purpose of Hatha Yoga today again is the same, to keep the physical body, emotional body, astral body, and mental body harmonious, healthy and happy, so that awareness can soar within to the heights of divine realization. Each asana carefully executed with regulated breathing, the visualization of color, and the hearing of the inner sound slowly unties the knotted vasanas within the subconscious mind and releases awareness from there to mountaintop consciousness. Hatha Yoga opens up the consciousness because when the height of the energy, the zenith, is reached in each posture, and we change to the next posture, a small or large adjustment occurs within the physical and astral nerve system. And we have a totally different approach to stress management, suggesting that we just, I'll try that one again. We have a totally different approach to stress management, suggesting that we change our relationship with stress, turn its inevitability to our advantage. He counsels, people are confused about stress these days. There is a solution, and that is a change in consciousness. Changing the way we are programmed. This means accepting stress not as a no-no, but as a yes-yes. In the old days, yoga wasn't just an Indian anti-stress pill. It made the mind and nerve system more intense, not less so. Stress is a natural reaction to intensity. Stress is our teacher, helping us to withstand intensity. Look into the bathroom mirror and mentally say to yourself, stress is making me strong. It really does. Try to believe it. Begin to enjoy stress and the strength that it is giving you. Where would our world teachers, our religious leaders, and parliamentarians be if they did not accept and transcend stress? Accomplished businessmen, fantastic athletes, high-strung artists, and fine musicians are asking for more. They want it. They thrive on it. They know it is making them perform at a higher level than normal. They know that weaker souls can't take it, and that gives them a special place in the universe at the top. So that's the idea of, we want challenges in life. We don't want life totally to be without challenges. We want challenges, and we want to have the tools to handle them well. So when we handle stress well, afterwards the stress goes away. It's not chronic. Chronic stress is the problem. And Gurudeva gives us our fifth practice, but you have to handle stress. How do you handle it? Like anything else, you go to God on the inside, you go to God in the temple, and finally you get rid of your stress. From the inside out, and you are a better person because of it. Because you had to expand your nerve system, you had to stretch your nerve system, you had to use brain cells that you never used before, to stretch out your mind, awaken new capacities. It is not easy. And our second topic, some questions that came into satsang@hindu.org. In striving to remain calm through all experiences, to control my reactions and be able to accept whatever happens, it sometimes seems that I can become too passive and that I could be taken advantage of. This can come up in personal life as well as in business. How does one draw the line between going with the flow and standing up to a situation that isn't good? A very good question. A good initial reaction to a challenging situation is to remain calm and accept it as what is happening. A second reaction that is good is to think about it and decide what outcome is the one that I should try to follow. A second reaction is to think about it and decide what outcome is the one that I should try to achieve. So that's where not being passive comes in. In other words, we need to accept it, step back, perhaps wait a bit till the emotion calms down, and then say, what do I want to achieve in this situation? And third is to go about achieving your desired outcome. So step 2 and 3 is what avoids it just being passive. I'm not reacting. Everything's okay. No, maybe there's something you need to do. Next question. Accepting all that happens as our own karma, when is it appropriate to address issues with others hurting us? Whether it be family, friends, co-workers, or acquaintances, when we find ourselves with hurt feelings, how do we accept it as our karma while also having the courage to address how someone else's actions have impacted us? So first is the same thing. Forego retaliation is our first principle. Second, karma management principle, accept responsibility. Third is forgiving the offender. So those are the 3 steps. I think getting over hurt feelings is part of forgiving the offender. Needs to be put into practice a few times to see exactly how it works for you. So looking at the principles isn't enough. You have to try and apply them. And in having tried to apply them a number of times, the question may be answered. How we get over the hard feelings. How can we really forgive the offender? And our third topic, as usual, character building, open-mindedness, 39th character quality in our workbook. And as usual, we start with giving you the opportunity to define open-mindedness. That's a pretty easy one. Our workbook gives this definition. Open-mindedness refers to a willingness to consider different ideas or opinions. It is cultivated by being detached from one's own point of view and accepting ideas from all others. The opposite is closed-mindedness. And our quotes from Gurudeva. All religions are not the same. To pretend that their differences are insignificant or non-existent will not resolve those differences. Understanding, which brings mutual appreciation, is the only permanent resolution, and that comes through an open-minded and courageous study of the unique strengths and weaknesses inherent in each. So the default Hindu idea is that aren't all religions the same? And that's a distortion. What we really want to be saying is all religions are good, or we can even qualify that all religions are good when practiced in a nonviolent way. They can all guide their followers to live a more virtuous, helpful life. So we need to use open-mindedness in studying them. And a short one, open-mindedness, the Hindus' tolerant freedom of thought, inquiry, and belief. Fortunately, in Hinduism, we have freedom of thought. No one's going to condemn us for having thoughts that are a little different than everybody else about religion. So we have the tolerant freedom of thought, inquiry, and belief. And the last quote. Prejudice is one of the negative emotions contained in the habit mind. We may not think of prejudice as being a habit, but it is. Many adults retain very strong habitual prejudices. They do not care for people who do not belong to their particular race, caste, or social class. So that's a form of closed-mindedness. And our example is comparing the actions of one who is open-minded to one who is closed-minded. First situation, when a promising new word processing program is released, you, open-mindedness, research its features to see if it is a better choice than the one you are currently using. Close-mindedness, stay with your old standby without looking into it. Second situation, when your father suggests a brand new vacation place, you, open-mindedness, respond positively and look into it to learn about the area and its attractions. Close-mindedness, object, saying you want to stick with the familiar places. Third situation, at a group discussion, when a young person introduces a metaphysical idea that opposes your beliefs, you, open-mindedness, find the idea difficult to embrace, but explore it in conversation, hoping for better understanding. Close-mindedness, dismiss both the person and the idea, taking refuge in your rock-solid beliefs. And reflection, take a moment to identify a few ways in which you could improve an open-mindedness. And I would look for any areas in which you are kind of rigid in your thinking, not open to suggestions or new ways of looking at it. It's the idea. Might just be a few. And the assignment for these next 2 weeks, when encountering opinions differ from your own. When encountering opinions different from your own, be open to them and see if they are worthwhile alternatives or additions to your own ideas. Oh, thank you very much.